Good evening and welcome to our Parent Academy webinar, where we'll be focusing on COVID-19 Return to School Plan. My name is Myra Lokma, and I'm the Director of Technology for South Holland School District 150, and I'm joined tonight by Dr. Denise Julius, SD150 Superintendent, Ms. Tiffany Webb, SD150 Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Grants, Ms. Camille Robinson, Director of Specialized Services, Mrs. Carla Cunningham, Greenwood Principal, Ms. Antoinette Patton, Greenwood Assistant Principal, Dr. Jerome Farrell, McKinley Principal, Ms. Ayanna Perkins, Assistant Principal, and Mr. Joseph Ingram, Assistant Principal. And I will now hand it over to Dr. Farrell to get us started.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jerome Farrell Jr., Principal, McKinley Elementary and Junior High School. Greetings to our School District 150 family. This is day 2 of our COVID-19 planning. We have some updates from last week. So we're going to be sharing that with you for our parents and family members that this is your first time joining in. And we welcome you. And hopefully today, this evening, within the next few minutes, you'll clear up some things and help you navigate for this upcoming school year. We do, as mentioned before, Ms. Lokma mentioned every one of the panelists, and they will be assisting from time to time, especially when it comes to, we're going to open it up for questions and answers at the end of our presentation. So first thing we want to let you know is what's important right at hand right now. Next Monday and Tuesday, we're going to be distributing the iPads, and it's going to be at both buildings, at Greenwood as well as at McKinley. So if you have a Greenwood student and McKinley student, then you would want to go to both schools to pick up the iPad. And you see the times. The times are from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. That is on Monday, the 24th. And on the 25th, it's from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And by the way, if there's some questions, you don't have to wait until the end. If you don't mind, you can type them in to the chat, and we will begin to start addressing those at the end of the presentation. At both buildings, please make certain that you'll be able to park your vehicle, and then there'll be stations where you'll be able to pick up the iPads, maintaining social distancing, making certain that we have our mask on and we're respecting that. Those things we're requiring. And you'll have a letter that'll be presented to you from our district superintendent, Dr. Julius. And so you'll be getting that shortly. It'll be on our website, our school website, as well as we'll present that via email. What's important, you see a $30 fee there, that is for the iPad. So that is for insurance, for any damages that could possibly occur with the iPad for the duration of the school year. That iPad would be in your possession, your child's possession, especially for at least the first quarter. The first quarter, we will be having remote learning. So we're looking at least until the end of October that we expect that. And we will communicate with all of our families, letting you know what we'll be doing for the remainder of the year. And we will start planning right after the progress reports. So maybe at about the 6th week of school, we'll begin sending out literature and letting you know, trying to work out phases for returning to the building. If it's safe, if it's not, then we will continue with the remote learning. So please, for the $30 fee, make certain that you take care of that. Also, registration. We're halfway there as far as having our families. The numbers, we are a little over 400, and we expect to at least almost get to 1,000 with the number of families that we have. So those that are on, you probably have already registered. So please speak to your neighbors and so forth, reminding them that we have to make certain that all of our students are registered. So please do so as early as possible. If for some reason you have some questions, you never received your paper that has all the information to log on to register, call the offices, call Greenwood, call McKinley, and then find out why you have not received your login information. It could be because the iPad hasn't been turned in, or it could be for some other situation, and you want to make sure you have clarity with that, with your individual situation or issue. So please contact our main offices and speak to one of the administrative assistants in the buildings. Now, it brings us to the first day of school. The first day of instruction will be on next Wednesday. That is the 26th of August. And so that's why it's extremely important that we make arrangements, parents, to pick up the iPads this coming Monday and or Tuesday. And we'll be outdoors in front of both buildings, ready to distribute those to you, as well as we'll place with you you'll get the homeroom teacher's name or the schedule if your students in junior high school. So that'll be the time where you'll get that information. Please continue to use PowerSchool and our Canvas. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that now. So you may ask, okay, Dr. Phil, what is Canvas? So Canvas, it is a website, it's an app that allows our students and parents to access all course materials, announcements, and assignments. And it's going to be used to access the class announcements, view, complete, and turn in all assignments, enter video sessions with teacher and class. So it's going to be live. The teacher's going to be live every day. So it's not going to look like it was March until the end of the school year, where you may have seen the teacher on here and there, maybe once or twice, but every day, Monday through Friday. And our expectation is that our students will be on their devices every day. We'll get a little bit more into that a little later. But how do I access the Canvas? Good question. Use Canvas app on student iPad, and this can be downloaded on other devices as well. So using our iPad that we give to the students, or you may have a desktop at home or any other device that you may want to use also as well, you may do that as well. Go to the district website, quick link, scroll down on the left, and you'll see the Canvas. This is the Canvas logo as you see at the bottom right-hand screen. Okay. Canvas, at the start of every day, following your schedule, go to your class page and click on the announcement link button to access the day's lesson. And that's critical. And as the students get accustomed to it, and most of them are, because this is not our first year using Canvas. And I want to also make an announcement right now that we are having training sessions for our parents on how to access every program that our students will be using, from PowerSchool and Canvas. Those are our two main platforms. And also the teacher will use Remind. And that goes for our offices as well. That's Mrs. Cunningham office at Greenwood and my office at McKinley. We'll also be using those Remind. And we also use it for various reasons. Even if when we start sports back up again, I know Mr. Ingram, he uses that with his coaches for the teams, the volleyball, basketball, and so forth. So we're praying that that'll be up sooner than later as well. So at the start of the day, you'll get on the Canvas. All assignments and activities will be linked on the daily announcement. For each class, students will need to access the comment button. This is called the big blue button on Canvas for their daily lesson and remain in the class for the full 40 or 80 minutes, depending on the subject matter. Some classes go for 40 minutes, some are for 80 minutes. So we want to make certain that all students remain in class, and that they're not just, they take attendance in the beginning and then they leave for some reason and go do something else, that they are engaged throughout the class period. Now here's an example. This is a sample. And I know Miss Patton, let me see here, Miss Patton, I can talk about you guys' schedule at Greenwood, or if you desire to share, let me see here. Let me see, I pull back up. I pulled the pictures down so I couldn't see everyone's faces here. I'm not sure. Miss Patton may have left out. Miss Cunningham didn't come in. Okay, fine. So for Greenwood, this is a sample schedule, and you will receive the schedule when you go on Monday or Tuesday next week. Your student's class schedule, and perhaps it's possible that they could meet their teacher on Monday and see them, or your parents. You know, if you don't have your child with you, it's possible they can't meet them, but you will receive information on who the teacher is and how to contact the teacher and so forth. They're going to be bi-monthly meetings that Mrs. Cunningham is going to have with the parents, and you'll see something similar with our school as well. All of our teachers have office hours. That's pre-K through 8th grade. But as you see, again, this is the lunch time, stays the same throughout the district, at 11:20 to 11:50, except when you see junior high, it's going to look a little different, but the lunchtime is still at that 11:20 hour. Okay, this is a sample schedule of McKinley, and the minutes will be adjusted for transition. So when we're planning this, although we're remote, we still will normally in the school day when the children are in school and they have 3 minutes to get from class to class. So we realized as we put it together that we want to make certain that our students have enough time and our teachers have enough time to wrap up a lesson so the student can exit out, make sure they get the assignment, even if it's something else for that evening to do before they proceed to the next class. So we're going to adjust the minutes, but you have at least a basic frame of what a day may look like for the students in elementary, and then I'll show you junior high. Notice again, this looks very similar. They'll look very similar across, and the classroom teacher, the homeroom teachers, whether they're at Greenwood or McKinley, they will, sometimes their math may be a different time than another student. Very possible. So you may have multiple children and 2 or 3 children at Greenwood, and their schedule, their content subject may be at a different time as opposed to their sibling, but they all will receive all of the core subjects, and they will receive the same specials at Greenwood and at McKinley Elementary. And as you see here too, at that 230, 250, the SEL, we have a curriculum that we're using called Suite 360. You'll hear us speaking about that. We used it last year. Our teachers like it. Our students, they like it. So we're going to stick with it. It's a program. We added more to it even this year. And the teachers will have lessons at least one time a week where they'll be teaching their students when they get to junior high doing social studies. But in elementary, it's built in to their schedule towards most time during the end of the day. Junior high schedule. The students will check in. I know it says 8:30 there, but at the latest 8:35, they will be with their home teacher. And again, you see we have the minutes will be adjusted so that the students, and we're going to have a test run on the 26th. That's the first day of instruction. So that week, the students will be able to have to see, and teachers will be able to time and see how long it's taking for one teacher to wrap it up so the student can get into their next Google class with their teacher on the next session. Student attendance checkout at 2:30, 2:30 to 3:30. That's teacher office hours for the students. Parents, yes, you will be able to interact with teachers, but not during the instructional session. We want to use it like we would during a school day if the students were face-to-face. We wouldn't have the parents having a conversation with the teacher while she's teaching, while he or she is teaching a lesson. We will have those during, whether you set up during the day when the teacher, they'll take their prep time to go over something with you, or before or after school, they'll set up an appointment with you. Sometimes it may be something quick that you need to have a response. So send an email. Send an email to your teacher. You have it on record, your concern, and so forth. And all know that our expectation from the district, school board, and building principals that they will respond within 24 hours. The only exception is if it was a holiday or if it ended on a Friday, you sent an email to them at 3 o'clock on a Friday. Expect that sometime on Monday for them to get back to you, not on that Saturday or Sunday. Some teachers may sometimes, but we want to keep it a practice that at least give them until the next business day. And so here's a sample schedule here. Notice again so say for instance you have a student that's in Greenwood, you have one in the elementary for the fifth, or one in junior high. That lunchtime is the same. The only difference is that the junior high have 20 minutes as opposed to the 30 minutes like the pre-K to the fifth grade. And that's due to the fact that they have two specials a day, plus they have their block schedules for ELA literature and their block math schedule, which looks a lot different than the pre-K to fifth grade. And so that 20 minutes, so that may be something where you may want to have prepared before they start the school day, have their lunch already prepared so they can go ahead, eat their meal during lunchtime, get that nourishment, and be ready for their latter 4 classes for the day. And again, those office hours, use them as needed. Not only can students request the opportunity to meet with the teacher during the office hours, but the teacher should be requesting as well. If they see that a student is struggling, even if your child doesn't want to show up for the office hour, they don't have an option, so that's the support that we need from parents. So please stay in constant communication with your child, with your student, and looking at their Power School and their Canvas. And I'll show you some more questions so that office hours built in, so that if there's any question, anything that they missed during that lesson, they'll have opportunity to meet with that teacher. So say, for instance, they have 2 classes that they're struggling with, and one teacher saying, I want to see you, and another teacher said, I want to see you. Then between the student and that parent, making certain that we're communicating with the teachers and saying the reason why Dr. Farrar couldn't go to your class for office hours because Mrs. Perkins requested that I be in hers and cannot meet you tomorrow for the office hours. So it's threefold, making certain that between the teacher, the parent, and the student, that we're constantly in communication and checking in on our students. So supplies that are needed. I mentioned last week that the supplies, you can see the supply list on our website. However, after speaking to the teachers, they said that supply list that they presented to us to put on the website, that is for in-person. So for the remote learning, they're just requiring, they're not as many supplies as they require as if they were face-to-face. So take a look here. We're looking at getting a school supply box with pencils, dry erase markers, eraser, crayons, eraser, and so forth. Students should have an AR book or online audio book to read, designated place to have school. It should be a flat surface for the iPad to rest and a place for students to do schoolwork, and a set of headphones. You don't have to be anything fancy, anything like that. But if you do want to do that, that's between you and your student. But something that they can have, because it could be multiple students at home. Maybe you're doing some work at home, pets at home, what have you. Making sure that they're able to hear, and the teacher as they're teaching. Supplies given by our school, the iPad, the charging block, and the cord. The workbooks, reading, language arts, math, all of those core subjects. Those have arrived at our school, but yet we still need time to separate it. And due to all the unforeseen happenings, whether it's been COVID, whether it's been unrest in our cities, in our country, the power outage that we just had, some of the construction with the beautification of both schools, all the parents are going to love it. Once it's all completed, all of our schools, thank you to our superintendent, our school board, and you'll be hearing more about the upgrades to our buildings. But what we decided to do, we do not want to delay instruction any day longer. So all of us got together and we agreed that let's still keep school, the start date the same, which will be this coming Wednesday. With that being said, they'll give teachers an opportunity to help the students make transition let them know how safe it's going to be online, making certain we get all the things that some things that they didn't get while they were we were doing remote learning from March until June. Review some standards from the previous grade, getting children back acclimated, learning, knowing our students again, them knowing us again. All those things we'll be doing, and then we'll start packing those books and getting those supplies together. The second week of school, we'll prepare those. And then the week after Labor Day weekend, that Wednesday, and then that following Saturday, and we'll get those dates to you. We don't want to give you everything tonight. We want you just, focus on next week. We will then send out another message so that you can get all of their workbooks and so forth from us. And then we'll give you opportunity to come to the school, whether it be that Wednesday after Labor Day or that Saturday after Labor Day weekend. We're going to be at the school giving you all of the supplies, the books and workbooks that will help while they are learning for the school year. So all that information will be given to you. And Dr. Julia, she has that in a letter that she'll be sending out to all of our parents this week. Online class, this is important. This is important right here. Online classroom expectation. You have to the right the do's and the don'ts. And then when we join and using the link, this is what the blue button looks like. In announcements in Canvas, please join the meeting on time. And when you enter the meeting, this is for our students. Make sure the students are quiet and in place without distraction. So, helping your students, making certain that getting on, maybe perhaps after they get in their routine, parents, grandparents, caregivers, then they'll be okay. You can release them. But maybe that first day, especially for our K through 5, they're going to need more support than probably our junior high students getting situated. But some of our junior high students need more support than some of our K through 5. So just because they're in junior high, so kind of monitor and see, your children, so monitor, making certain they understand. And most of these practices, they know because March to June, but just in case, you don't want to assume. Mute as soon as they enter the class, reminding them that, mute their microphone. These be things that the teachers will go over on the 26th, 27th, 28th as well. If you are called on to answer a question, this means the student shall unmute themselves and then mute when finished. Then show yourself. In order to be counted present for class, students must show themselves on camera. It must be their face, not the ceiling or an avatar. Now, it's also important to make certain when the students are online that you see here dress appropriately. So you just look over to your right. And what that means is that we're not in our PJs, our pajamas. We're not, revealing any skin, sort of for like stomachs or anything like that, or making certain. And if it's something that's in doubt, clothing that's in doubt, have them put on the uniform. We're not making that mandatory. We haven't done that. Other districts are, but getting them up on time in routine. Class starts, we expect them to check in no later than 8:35. So that means that they don't want to turn over out of the bed at 8:25 and then just jump on and then get an opportunity to go in the bathroom and brush their teeth, comb their hair, this, that, and the other. So make certain as if they were walking into Greenwood or walking into McKinley, they're getting ready in the morning. And so we're going to need your support. We're going to need your support, parents, with that.
Dr. Fair, I'd just like to piggyback off of that. Good evening, everyone. It's imperative that we set up rituals and routines for our students. Even though they might be at home, get them up, like Dr. Fair indicated, get them dressed. But the most important part, have a routine that they have breakfast, that they have they eat a hearty meal or something right before they start school. And look at this as being in school every day, but in a different environment. So we really want to make sure that our students are afforded every opportunity to be in a successful environment in their own surroundings, in their own homes. So please, like Dr. Farrell said, day, every night. They need a routine. They don't need to be up all night playing video games. They need to go to bed at a decent hour, get up in time for school, be ready to participate and move forward. Because this is a lot different than we were in the spring. We will be taking attendance and we will be grading. So it's paramount that we follow through with the rituals and routines. Thank you.
That, like I said, you see how important it is. Our superintendent, this is, and she reiterated this to us, today, making certain, because it the mindset, it's the whole mindset, getting up, and getting yourself prepared. It makes a total difference. It makes it a lot easier when the teachers start the instruction. Conversation starter. Also, not to record. We don't want to record. Now, the sessions, from time to time, the teachers may be able to post them. So those students, for some reason, they may not be able to get on for whatever reason. And making certain that you communicate that. Call the same way you would if your child was face-to-face. If they're going to be absent, call the main office so that we can make certain it's marked excused. And if you don't call, then it's marked as unexcused absent. So if your child's too ill to participate in the class, the remote learning, call the school office, call Greenwood, call McKinley. These are conversation starters. These are that our teachers came up with, so they have been wonderful with this. In the morning, consider asking these questions. These are some starter questions. What classes, subjects do you have today? Do you have any assignments? This could be asked in the morning, end of the day. How will you spend your time? What resources do you need? What can I do to help? End of the day, you may ask, how far did you get in your learning task today? What did you discover? What was hard? Do you need any help? And if your child is pulling your leg and they're not being open, they just want to get to eat, they want to just hurry up and get into bed, or they want to get to opportunity to have free time. So pick up on all those signs. And what could we do to make tomorrow better? And that's putting the onus on the student. What can we do? So making him or her make those decisions and be responsible. Again, office hours for parents by appointment. Just make them in with the teacher, where they be. Now we use Remind, or there are Canvas announcements, or when you hear us, any one of the administrators, or we're sending out bright arrow messages, those are general messages that we send out to parents. But if it's something that you need that's personal, pertaining to your child, your son or daughter, then you want to send an email directly to the teacher. So they'll be able to get back to you as soon as possible. Like I said, whether it be an email or a phone call, or if you want to call the office, we'll relay that message to the teacher as well. And if for some reason you're not getting what you need, then call one of us, Ms. Cunningham or myself. And if you're not getting what you need from one of us, call Dr. Julia's office. So those are the things, the best practices that will keep all the communication a blessing. My school books. This is something that a parent had called, and so Ms. Lopeland, she was talking to me a little early, right before we got on the Zoom, and it's up and running, and you'll see it once you register. So I know some parents will have some difficulties with it, but once you register, and My School Bucks is where you can make transactions with our school throughout the school year. And we like this better than even the ePay. And so you'll see the benefits of it once you get acclimated into it. Power School grades. These are the grades, the grading scale. We're still looking to celebrate our students that are honor roll students, high honor roll and distinguished students. So we're going to be creative on how we acknowledge them. So encourage your students, though we're not in the building, to still maintain those high academic standards and make sure they get the most out of their learning each and every day. The assignments do count. Please stress to the students. That's why attendance is so important, that parents call the office if you know that your student will not be able to participate. It's very important that you communicate with our offices, because our expectation is that if you didn't call, then the student was being negligent and didn't get on, just because they just didn't feel like doing schoolwork that day. So make certain that you call the school if it's something that's going on, technical, a problem. Let us know. Keep us informed. Whether you make the phone call, send an email to the teacher. And once again, if you get the message across from the teacher, call the school or send an email to Ms. Cunningham or to myself and let us know, so we can make sure that our children are getting what they need every day. We talked about the office.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our Parent Academy. And we hope that you're going to join us tomorrow night at 6:30 when we will be discussing Canvas LMS. And don't forget that you can always view what's upcoming and past webinars by going to www.sd150.org.